is Marmite. So I don't know if you're familiar with this all over the world or not, but in the UK, for years, Marmite ran an advertising campaign saying that you either love it or you hate it. And there are a few crypto projects like that. I think ICP is definitely one of them. So today we're looking at ICP. I did a video back on ICP well back in October. Um, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said. Let's have a look. So ICP, Internet Computer, they're attempting to basically be the whole of Web3, which is exciting, right? Because if they pull this off, this could be absolutely massive. One of the driving factors behind this as well is how cheap it is. $5 per gig per year. Very, very cheap. It's Cybersphere's cloud. So I'm not going to go through the entire website today. If you want to go and check the other ICP video, feel free to do that. It's got Ask ICP AI as well. So if you want to have a little play with that, you can. First thing I want to look at is this. So it's how big and how much this is growing. It's growing all the time. As you can see, blocks, the transactions per second are huge. The Ethereum equivalent transactions per second always going up. Everything is going up, which is good. You want to see that. The canisters are going up for the year, transactions for the year, and the cycle burn rate for the year is also going up. Now, this is currently inflationary. However, it could become deflationary because if the burns outweigh the new supply coming onto the market, if the burns outweigh that, it will eventually become deflationary, which could be absolutely fantastic because obviously the deflationary is going to help us a lot more. Power consumption, things like that are also very, very cheap, which is good. If we look at this, this is the amount staked. So the current supply that's out at the minute of ICP is 513 million, nearly 514 million to be fair in total supply. The circulating supply is 456 million. If we look though at this here, let me move my head out of the way. That might be a little bit easier. I'll put myself over there for a minute. Don't normally put myself over there. That's going to be unusual. So there, at the minute, 8 years staking. So people are staking this for 8 years. So they're the hardcore. They believe in this for the long run. 8 years, 136 million tokens are locked up for 8 years, which I think is fantastic because I'm not playing an 8-year game on this. I don't want to hold it for 8 years. I like the fact that people are so bullish on it and they believe they can achieve their goal of becoming Web3. But I don't want to be holding for 8 years. So I want to be looking at these people who are holding it 0 to 6 months, 6 to 12, and 1 to 2 years. So if you look at that, you're looking at what? 66 million are locked up in that period, but the rest, so 180 odd million, are locked up for anything between 2 and 8 years. 136 million of that is locked up for 8 years. That's super bullish. That means that they're going to be locked up. They're not going to be available. So I believe that will enhance the price, the token price, because it will give it more of a supply shock. It's not necessarily going to be the be all and end all of the project, but I think that's useful to us if we want to get in, make our money and get out again. But maybe if this does pull it off, it is maybe worth having a 10, 15, maybe 20% of your ICP bag just nestled away for the long term. Because if it does do what it does, that could be worth a lot of money in the future. So that's exciting. That's interesting. But like I say, I'm not going to be prepared to hold anything for 8 years, regardless of tech, regardless of what people say. I don't care. Bull and bear cycles, they do run, they exist. I feel as though if I was to sell my ICP at the height of this bull run, probably won't time the top, but as close as we can, and then buy it back during the bottoms and dips of a bear market in the future, then I would significantly beat the staking rate, I believe. So I don't want to hold it up, but I'm glad that people do hold it up, hold it and lock it away in staking because it could be very, very beneficial to us if we're looking to play the shorter game with ultimate long-term goals in mind. So the ecosystem, and this is building all the time. This is the thing. So a lot of people are really against ICP, and I get that. And there is an elephant in the room that I will touch on in a little while. But everyone, I've never really heard a video on ICP ever. People going, yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's all right. I think it's decent. It's normally this is the best thing in the world, and it's going to take over absolutely everything, or this is absolute dog shit, and you're going to get rugged. They're the two kind of extremes, but they seem to be the only place that people live in. They don't live in the middle ground where they're having to go, well, it's okay. And if it does do this, this is great. But if it does this, this is bad. There's no real kind of mid-range feeling towards this. And I understand that because people like to get really behind their cryptos, and nothing can say a bad word about them. But I like to try and keep things as open as possible. So if I bought this, it did something bad, then I'd say I'm selling it because it's done this bad. It's not telling you to sell it, not telling you to buy it, not telling you to do anything. You're just on this journey with me. We're having a look at things. But the ICP ecosystem is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're categorized here. You've got SocialFi, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Enterprise, NFT, DAO, DeFi, wallets, games, tools and infrastructure, metaverse, and AI. Games are going to be big. We know that games are going to be big during the bull run. We know it's going to be a massive narrative. So you can go on there and you can do that. You can check all these things out as well by going on their X pages. Here you can try these things out. It's entirely up to yourself. Have a little look around, see what you think. That any of these little projects that are within the ecosystem, do they seem valuable to you? Is it something that you think will really boost the Internet Computer Protocol? I saw Internet Computer Protocol North America. A guy, I think he did a live chat on Bitcoin Renegades channel, which was really, really interesting. The guy's name is Javier. Very interesting. Here is the potential elephant in the room, because as we all know that, and I've said this before, these internet identities, whilst there can be many positives around having an internet identity, there can also be many negatives. Things like freedom and to be able to do things anonymously and things like that should be everyone's right. I get that it borders into the things that are slightly more nefarious, which obviously shouldn't take place, but you should still, as a good human being, be able to be anonymous at times that you don't want to be publicly shown. So having an internet identity, we're looking down the routes of the Chinese social credit score, which does concern me. I don't think that's a very good idea. Now, what other cultures decide to do, things like that, it's fine. But I think globally, a social credit score, for me, I don't like it. I think it's negative. I think it has a negative impact on society. But Web 2.0 relies on usernames and passwords for authentication in a paradigm that is insecure, inconvenient, and fails to protect privacy. So when you're pro having an internet identity, then a lot of things like privacy and things like that will be used as a selling tool. So Web3 often builds on centralized Web2 infrastructure and keeps associated tokens and NFTs on blockchains, which are controlled using cumbersome cryptographic wallets like MetaMask. Internet identity is an authentication system for both Web3 amalgams and full Web 3.0, combining public standards such as WebAuthn and FIDO with keychain crypto technology. User conveniently created secure sessions using fingerprint sensors and Face ID systems on their personal computer devices, or using external hardware wallets. Now, with everything in life, the thing that tends to happen is when the governments start bringing in overreach, or when big institutions start bringing in overreach that infringe on people's privacy and data and the way things are doing things, human beings tend to resist and come up with ways around it. VPNs are a classic example. Loads of these different things. There's always a way around it. It's like criminals and the authorities. When the authorities bring out this new software or new developments that will help crack down on certain crimes, the criminals get smarter, and then the police play catch up. The same way as when it's the other way around, when the police have got something good, then or the authorities, then the criminals have to go back to the drawing board and work out ways around that. I think that it'd be very much like that as a society when we come to these kind of Web3, internet identities. I think there'll be ways around it. So the Definity Foundation, this is the people behind Internet Computer, is a major contributor, obviously, to the ICP blockchain. They're Swiss-based. They're a not-for-profit organization with the largest research and development team in blockchain. Now, this is huge as well. I think the bigger the research and development that goes into this, the bigger and faster it will grow. Will it achieve its goal of being like all-encompassing internet for Web 3.0? I don't know. It's a big, bold, wish. It's a big, bold project that if you want to do that, if you pull this off, it could be absolutely massive. But we have a look here, and we'll specifically on research and development. You can see it's absolutely vast. It's absolutely vast. Which is very, very interesting. Also, the guy at the top, Dominic Williams, founder and chief scientist, who we'll touch on in a second, because he has some quotes, some recent quotes. This was written by William Laurent. It's on the Medium channel, Medium website. So some of the things that he said that hackers cannot make 2 + 2 = 5 go fully on chain. So the rules of mathematics are absolute and not subject to manipulation. Blockchain technology and cryptographic principles are based on hard mathematical problems, proving overwhelmingly tamper-proof for hackers. That was one of the quotes that he used. His next quote was, although many crypto companies claim they build their systems and products on the blockchain, the truth is they have built their services on Amazon Web Services and hold tokens with limited financial logic on the blockchain. So it says here that Williams is critiquing many crypto projects for failing to utilize blockchain technology to its fullest potential. A blockchain that runs partially on Amazon Web Services should never be considered to be 100% decentralized. But like I said, if you've got a web identity, then how centralized or how decentralized is that? So there is that kind of trade-off almost. Considering that self-learning AI models need vast amounts of data to learn from, and blockchains are unable to store such even as much as a photo's worth of data, their overlap with AI is bound to be minimal. So we are under the impression that AI is going to be a massive narrative as well. This just shows you what maybe its limitations could be. AI systems often rely on extensive data sets to achieve robust machine learning results, yet numerous blockchains face challenges when it comes to efficiently and economically managing substantial data loads. In contrast, the Internet Computer Protocol provides remarkably cost-effective storage capabilities, surpassing all other blockchains. This affordability opens the door to seamless integration with AI systems, positioning ICP as a leader in driving the advancement of AI. So that's another narrative that it's ticked, right? One day, Web 3.0 and Web 3 will be about creating networks, which is what the other quote. So Williams' use of creating networks underscores the importance of decentralized networks in the next phase of the internet's evolution, where services, applications, and utilities are interconnected without centralized control, leading to more open and user-centric web environment. His next quote was, controlling a blockchain using a council is the same as controlling it using a board. So Williams is advocating for a more distributed and community-driven approach to blockchain governance. His vision relies on DAOs to make governance highly decentralized and autonomous. The rules of the chain must not be decided by a small group of decision makers. Now, you could argue that most of society is unfortunately led by a small group of decision makers. He says here that the ICP revolution is gaining momentum. You don't want to be left behind. The video I made on ICP was when ICP was at $3. So you can see my frustration of why I didn't back up the truck at that particular point. This guy here at Ceasefire Tweet says, the same way Bitcoin is the digital cash replacement away from banks, ICP is the entire internet replacement away from big tech. So big tech, Google, Amazon Web Services, has monopoly on cloud data. Any blockchain with data hosted on big tech is not decentralized. ICP data is all on ICP itself, which is interesting. Here is Definity's Twitter page or x.com page, however you want to call that. 684,000 followers currently, so that's vast. It's getting bigger and bigger. More and more people are becoming more aware, I think, of what ICP can do. This is good as well. I like this because they're showcasing their technology. They're showing it to people who will ultimately use it in the future. So these are like meetups, boot camps, conferences, and real use cases. ICP hubs are making moves worldwide. Get the latest news here. Now, I think this is bullish. So if you have a look here at the images, you can see that people are given talks about the benefits of ICP, having chats with people, going deeper into what's going on, and basically teaching how these things work, which I think is going to be massively bullish. I think the more people are aware, the more eyes you get, the more people are likely to take it. So as we talked about before about inflationary and deflationary, ICP does have unlock schedules. The last one I think that this goes up to. So currently it unlocks 2.37 million, which is 0.46% of the total supply. But I think as you go down, it's June the 11th, 2025 is the last unlock date that Crypto Rank have. Now, maybe that goes further than that. I imagine it would. But obviously, if we can get them burned higher than the amount that's coming out, then that'll have a better impact on price for us. So at the minute, it's $12.30. Again, I'm a bit gutted that I didn't get any when I was talking about it at $3. But you can't catch everything. You just can't catch everything. It's 24-hour trading volume's good. The market cap is $5.5 billion, so that's high. But again, you don't have to chase 100x's all the time. I've said before, like cornerstone of my portfolio is the likes of Quant, Casper, things like HBAR that I don't expect 100x's from, but they're solid. ICP may be one of those ones that you could put in there as a solid cornerstone. Again, of course, it's not financial advice. The all-time chart, now this is the thing that people mainly point to and say, well, it's shit because of this. The reason why is we had this here is due to Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. We know what he was like. He's obviously, you know, a giant dickhead who cost a lot of people a lot of money. But also, I think it gave a negative reputation for ICP and has caused this looking chart here. This chart is so heavily manipulated that it doesn't concern me like other project would if it had an identical chart. We can now see here, and you can see how small this is, insignificant blips, but they're not going to be insignificant blips if these are your foundations, in my opinion. So if we look at the coin perspective, if Internet Computer had a market cap of 68.5 billion, which I know, you know, it's a lot, but I'm looking at maybe around $150 for ICP. I think that's absolutely fine. I like, you know, a solid 10, 11, 12x just to have as a fundamental within the portfolio. And that's even from this price. But I don't want to buy it at this price. I'm still thinking there should be a dip. I'm hoping there's a dip. If it goes below $10, then I will get my position in ICP. I'm not buying it at $12.27. And I know that sounds stupid because, well, if it's going to be $150, why wouldn't you buy it now? Because I still want to try and get as much bang for my buck. So I want it to be a bit lower. Anything in the $9 range, then I will be looking in and buying my starter pack, say, of ICP. Maybe if the prices remain low over a period of time, then I can DCA into that. That's absolutely happy days. Keeping that lower average entry cost down is important to me. I want it to be as low as possible on all my projects, because then when it starts getting to the hires, the ones where I think that my targets, my exit strategy targets are, then I can start layering out with as much profit as humanly possible. Yes, maybe I'll leave a small percentage in, you know, like the guys who are staking for 8 years because they believe in the project to that extent. But I want to make my money now in the next 18 months, 2 years max. And then if I want to go into the bear market and ICP drops significantly and I start picking it up again, that's absolutely fine. There's a lot of people saying it can go a lot higher than that. Some people are saying thousands of dollars. I don't think so in this particular bull run, but if we have a look at maybe $500, $228 billion market cap, an upside of 40x, I'll be more than happy with that. If it tries to do if it does achieve what it's trying to do, if it becomes deflationary, if more and more people use this, if more and more people build on this, the more bullish it gets. I know a lot of people on YouTube aren't really talking about it, or if they are, they're talking about it in a negative way, and there's a very few small people who are talking about it in a very positive way. If that shifts and more positivity comes from social media and YouTube, then we could likely see $500 ICP. I would imagine that I'll be well out by then. There'll be a small bag, like I said, that I might let go to the moon if possible. But, you know, I'm looking at $150, $200 would be fine. That'd be absolutely fine from this range, because I want to just have a nice little 10, 12x, because they're nice. You know, you don't have to hold on then for ludicrous targets. And it generates and guarantees that you've got some money back, right? Obviously, nothing in crypto is a guarantee, but that's kind of where I'm looking at. If it did go to $500 per ICP, it puts it on, like I say, $228 billion market cap, which is just under where Ethereum is today or now. Is that possible? I think so, because I think Ethereum is going to be, you know, a lot higher than that anyway. So you're probably still looking at a top 10 coin in ICP, in my opinion. If you want to really go deep into ICP, there is one crypto YouTuber called Jerry Banfield who has gone all in on ICP. Now, I wouldn't do that. I like to have a nice spread portfolio in different narratives, in different sectors that may pump at different times. That's absolutely fine, but I don't want to have all in on one project, because if that project does suffer in any way, then your whole bull run is gone, because you just based it on one project. So I don't want to do that. But this guy, I would imagine he's not completely all into ICP. I would imagine he's got other plays too, but he is basically like an ICP guru. Every video is about different facets of ICP, including some of the ecosystem that we touched on before. So if you want to have a real deep go into this, go follow this guy. Go watch his videos. He has got so much going on with ICP. You know, if that's what you want to do, if you might not be interested in the project at all. So what do you feel about ICP? Because like I said before at the start of the video, it is Marmite. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think if you're in Australia, it's Vegemite, right? Or Vegemite, mate. So however you feel about it, let me know in the comments, because I know a lot of people will be hating it, a lot of people will be loving it. It probably will cause some controversy in the comments, I know. But let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button. I always appreciate you guys do that. Subscriber-wise, we're through 3,700. We're getting close. We're getting close to the 4K subscriber mark. So thank you very much for that. The ultimate goal is 10K. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. That will be absolutely fantastic. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, have an amazing day. Have an amazing evening. And as always, I'll speak to you tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.